Now, the thing about Pilate, you said, okay, now Pilate wanted to rescue Jesus here. He didn't want to crucify him. And this is another thing that I'm kind of surprised at, because critical scholars normally regard this as political propaganda by the early Christians and that it's not historical, whereas these same scholars accept the death of Jesus because it's so much more better attested. So if you're going to accept the Pilate story, then all the more you should accept the story of Jesus' death, because there's much more going for it. If you reject the Jesus death, then all the more you should reject the Pilate, because there's less going for it.
Now, you see, I think your point here is built on what we might call epistemological confusion. There is a way in which we learn things. I didn't mean to be funny about that. I'm just trying to put my thoughts together, and we have to be quick. You see, we start with certain basic assumptions. So, basic assumption: I'm a Muslim. Therefore, I believe that the Quran is the Word of God. Therefore, I believe the Quran's depiction that God raised Jesus to himself and that his enemies did not kill him. And this might be explained in a variety of ways. Jeffrey Parenter, a Christian writer, in his book Jesus and the Quran, says that perhaps this actually means that the Jews didn't kill him because the Romans did. Or perhaps it means that whereas they thought they killed him, they hadn't actually killed him, and it was God who killed him. And many verses of the Quran can be cited in collusion with this to show that the Quran has this outlook, that it's not the enemy that kills the righteous person of God, it is God who takes the life of the person. And moreover, it could mean that even though they had actually physically killed him, he is still alive with God. And the Quran says that the martyrs are alive with God. And that would reflect back with what I said about Abraham and Moses from the lips of Jesus himself. And so from that epistemological perspective, there are many different conclusions that I can form. Now, if I leave that situation behind and pretend for a moment that I'm not going with the Quran, then I have to turn to the Gospels and the histories that are built on the Gospels. Now, if I take the position of the historians, as you were suggesting I would do, and deny that Pilate was reticent, and if I perceive of Pilate as a very brutal individual who wanted Jesus dead, then I would conclude with other historians, with Michael Grant, for example, in his book An Historian's View of the Gospels, and other such historians, that Jesus actually died on the cross.